Right now, as you watch this video, half of America's most advanced stealth fighters are sitting on the ground. Not because of enemy fire, not because of a global conflict, but because they simply can't fly. The Pentagon just paid Lockheed Martin $1.7 billion for maintenance that didn't happen. Meanwhile, our pilots are watching their jets rust while China and Russia advance their own fifth-generation programs. This isn't a future problem. This is happening today. And what you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about the future of American air power. The F-35 was supposed to be the fighter that guaranteed American air superiority for the next 50 years. Instead, it's become a $2 trillion question mark that has military commanders worried and allies reconsidering their orders. Stay with me, because the real story behind these grounded jets reveals something far more troubling than a simple maintenance issue. Welcome to Jet Insight, where we bring you the truth about military aviation that mainstream media won't tell you. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the F-35 Lightning II crisis that has the Pentagon scrambling for answers. This isn't about bashing our military or the incredible men and women who serve. This is about holding contractors accountable and making sure our warfighters get the tools they deserve. Because when half your stealth fleet can't take off, that's not just a readiness issue, it's a national security crisis. If you support our troops and want to see them get the equipment they deserve, type proud in the comments below. The shocking numbers. Let me lay out the facts that the Department of Defense just confirmed. In 2024, the F-35A fleet achieved a mission-capable rate of just 51.5%. That means on any given day, fewer than half of these jets could actually fly a combat mission. Think about that for a moment. We're talking about the most expensive fighter program in human history, and it's performing worse than jets we built in the 1980s. But here's where it gets worse. Back in 2021, these same jets were mission-capable 69% of the time. That's almost 70%. In just 3 years, we've watched that number crater by nearly 20 percentage points. The F-16 Fighting Falcon, a jet design from the 1970s, has better availability rates. The workhorse A-10 Warthog that everyone said was outdated? It's more reliable than our newest stealth fighter. The Pentagon's Inspector General just dropped a bombshell report. They found that even with half the fleet grounded, the Department of Defense paid Lockheed Martin $1.7 billion for sustainment services. No penalties. No consequences. Just handed over taxpayer money while our jets sat in hangars collecting dust. The report specifically stated that the Pentagon did not always hold Lockheed Martin accountable for poor performance related to F-35 sustainment. Now here's the number that should make every American sit up and pay attention. The lifetime cost of the F-35 program has now exceeded $2 trillion. Not billion. Trillion with a T. That's more than the entire GDP of most countries. And for what? A fleet where half the jets can't even take off when needed. Our allies are noticing too. Canada, Switzerland, and Spain have all either reviewed their F-35 procurement plans or reduced their orders. Some have abandoned their purchases entirely. These are nations that depend on American military technology to defend themselves. When they start backing away, that tells you everything you need to know about confidence in this program. Why this is happening. So what's actually keeping these jets on the ground? The answer isn't simple, and that's part of the problem. Let's start with the spare parts crisis. Right now, there's a massive shortage of critical components needed to keep F-35s flying. When a part breaks, maintainers can't just order a replacement and install it the next day. Some parts take weeks or even months to arrive. Others aren't even in production yet. Lieutenant General Michael Schmidt, the F-35 Program Executive Officer, declared a war on readiness back in 2023. 2 years later, that war isn't going well. The Joint Program Office itself admits that their overall readiness rates remain unacceptable. Those are their words, not mine. The maintenance system is another disaster waiting to happen. Originally, the F-35 used something called the Autonomic Logistics Information System, or ALIS. This was supposed to be a revolutionary computer system that would track every aspect of the jet's maintenance, predict problems before they happened, and keep the fleet flying smoothly. Instead, it became a nightmare. Alice was cumbersome, prone to errors, and couldn't even provide accurate readiness data. Imagine trying to run a hospital where the computer system can't tell you which patients need surgery. That's basically what happened with Alice. They replaced it with something called ODIN, the Operational Data Integrated Network. Better name, same problems. Software glitches continue to cause maintenance delays and temporary groundings. Our maintainers are working with one hand tied behind their backs because the computer systems designed to help them are actually making their jobs harder. Before we dive deeper into what this means for American air power, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. Now let's talk about the human side of this crisis, the maintainer shortage. Here's something the Pentagon doesn't want to advertise. We don't have enough qualified people to fix these jets. Between October 2024 and January 2025, aircraft grounded for maintenance exceeded target rates by more than twice what was acceptable. The primary cause? A shortage of trained engineers and maintainers. These aren't just any mechanics. F-35 maintenance requires highly specialized training. The jet uses cutting-edge stealth materials, advanced sensors, and computer systems that make a Boeing 777 look simple by comparison. Training someone to work on these aircraft takes time and costs money. Retaining them is even harder because civilian contractors will pay them twice as much to do similar work. The Government Accountability Office released a report in 2023 that laid it all out. Maintainers weren't properly trained. They lacked the spare parts needed to do their jobs. Technical data required for repairs was incomplete or missing entirely. And the effort to expand repair depots, the facilities where major maintenance happens, was falling behind schedule. Think about our dedicated military maintainers working in these conditions. These are the men and women who keep our air power projection possible. They're pulling off miracles every single day just to keep jets flying. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin called them miracle workers. And he's right. But miracles can only stretch so far when the system is broken. The UK is facing similar problems with their F-35B fleet. Between October 2024 and January 2025, their jets grounded for maintenance exceeded targets by more than twice the acceptable rate. Their shortage of F-35 engineers is even more severe than ours. Aircraft unavailable due to spare parts were over 2/3 higher than target rates. And here's the kicker. The UK only prepares aircraft that are scheduled to fly, while the US tries to maintain maximum availability. Even with that lower standard, they're still failing to meet their goals. The combat readiness problem. Now let's talk about what this really means for national security. When the Pentagon calculates mission-capable rates, they're not talking about jets that can fly around the base for training. They're talking about aircraft that can deploy on short notice, conduct combat operations, and complete their missions successfully. A 51.5% mission-capable rate means that on any given day, the Air Force can count on roughly half their F-35As being ready for combat. Here's the scary part. During actual deployments, those numbers get better. Units take extra spare parts with them when they deploy. They prioritize maintenance for deployed aircraft. They pull resources from other units to keep the deployed jets flying. The Joint Program Office noted that units have high mission-capable rates during deployment because of these measures. But what does that tell you? It means we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're keeping deployed units flying by cannibalizing parts and support from units back home. The F-35 was designed to be the backbone of American and Allied air power for the next 50 years. It's supposed to replace the F-16, the A-10, and even carrier-based jets like the FA-18. But how can it replace anything when half of them can't fly? Right now, the Air Force has roughly 400 to 470 F-35As. That's about 8 to 10% of the total fleet of 5,000 aircraft. These jets were supposed to be the tip of the spear, the first ones in during any conflict. Instead, they're becoming hangar queens. Low availability doesn't just hurt training and readiness. It affects our ability to respond to threats. When tensions rise in the Pacific or the Middle East, we need aircraft that can deploy immediately. We need pilots who have logged enough flight hours to stay sharp. We need maintainers who aren't constantly scrambling to fix broken jets. None of that is possible when half your fleet is grounded. The Block 4 modernization program is now 5 years behind schedule and $6 billion over budget. This upgrade is critical because it allows the F-35 to carry next-generation weapons like the AIM-260 missile, designed specifically to counter Chinese and Russian fifth-generation fighters. Without Block 4, Our F-35s can't use the weapons they need to maintain air superiority against our peer adversaries. The delay isn't just about money, it's about combat capability in a future conflict. The delivery disaster. Let's talk about the jets that are supposed to fix this problem. New aircraft deliveries from Lockheed Martin have been an absolute disaster. In 2023, most F-35s delivered by Lockheed and engine maker Pratt & Whitney were late, with an average delay of 61 days. That's already bad enough. But 2024 was worse. Every single aircraft delivered in 2024, over 100 jets, was delayed. Not some of them, not most of them, all of them. The average delay was 238 days. That's nearly 8 months. Why the delays? Part of it was new computers that were supposed to be installed in the jets. These are high-performance embedded computers that will provide processing support for future capabilities. Great idea, except the computers weren't ready. So jets rolled off the production line and then sat in parking lots waiting for computers to be manufactured and installed. Once those computers were available, the backlog cleared. But the damage was done. The total procurement cost of the F-35 program has exceeded $485 billion as of December 2023. That's up nearly 10% from the $442 billion estimate made just 1 year earlier. It's more than double the original cost projection from 2001. Remember when this program was supposed to deliver a highly common, lethal, survivable, supportable, and affordable next-generation multi-role strike fighter? Those were the exact words used by Pentagon leadership after 9/11. We got the lethal part when the jets actually fly. Everything else has been a broken promise. What needs to happen? So what's the solution? First, the Pentagon needs to actually hold Lockheed Martin accountable. Paying $1.7 billion with no consequences for missing readiness targets is insane. Contracts need teeth. Performance standards need to be enforceable. If a contractor consistently fails to meet their obligations, there should be financial penalties severe enough to force change. Second, we need a massive investment in spare parts inventory. The Government Accountability Office made this clear. The most impactful near-term option for improving aircraft availability is increasing the pool of available spares. Either buy more parts or maximize depot capacity to repair broken parts and return them to service faster. This isn't rocket science. It's basic logistics that somehow got overlooked in a trillion-dollar program. Third, we need to address the maintainer shortage. That means better pay, better training, and better retention programs. These highly skilled technicians are the backbone of air power. Without them, even the best aircraft in the world is just an expensive paperweight. The military needs to compete with civilian contractors for talent, and that means investing in people, not just hardware. Fourth, the Block 4 modernization needs to be fast-tracked. 5 years behind schedule is unacceptable when China is fielding its own 5th-generation fighters and Russia is developing counter-stealth technology. Our jets need the latest weapons and capabilities to maintain the edge that American pilots depend on. Cutting corners on modernization to save money today will cost lives tomorrow. For those of you who are veterans or active military aviation enthusiasts, there's a growing community of people who understand these issues and want to see real change.